Time to get geeked up.
And honestly, because all we got really left now to do is give the review, and hearing it from her perspective might have kind of, I don't know. Does
it influencing the judges? I mean,
a little bit, dude. A little bit. It was definitely interesting to hear it from her perspective versus mine.
Yes,
but,
definitely. I mean, honestly, we've talked about it before, especially, like, I joked that, Netta, that was the director's cut, but a lot of times just getting a little bit of insight on something really changes your whole perspective. And if I watched that whole movie knowing that Will Ferrell had been married to a Swedish woman for 20 years, and this was something that he was, like, a little bit more than just a random goofy character, I might have taken it a little bit more serious. You know what I mean? Just, like, I was looking at it like it was just in line with Talladega Nights and Blades of Glory. Like, it was just a famous thing that he was parodying, but I didn't realize that it had a little bit more connection to it, and interesting that, you know, a lot of the people in it that I was not familiar with were famous Eurovision stars of past.
For sure. I mean, for Christ's sake, Netta said she cried at some point in the movie, so that's amazing. And I guess that's kind of why we are going to give our reviews after we let Netta go here, because we didn't want to break her heart. There was no scene in the movie where Liam and I were crying at it at all. I guess Liam's takes a long time to set up, so I'll let him go first. Liam, what's your official review of this movie?
All right, so I'll give you, of course, I go by the 4-point scale, where if I like it, I give it the Stone Cold Steve Austin, hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
If I don't like it, I give it the Damon Wayans, David Alan Grier Men on Films, hated it.
Hated it.
If I absolutely love it, I give it the Rudy's Dad.
This is the most beautiful sight piece of ice I've ever seen.
And if I absolutely hate it, I give it the Nick Cage from Mandy. Right. So, of course, that's my 4-point scale, and this one is a pretty oftentimes much deliberation. I guess. By the way, shout out to Da 5 Bloods. Should we give a spoiler? Should we give a Bradley Cooper on my 5 Bloods pick? But of course, Rudy's Dad, Rarefied Air, Da 5 Bloods being my first Rudy's Dad in the year plus, and I'm willing to right off the bat rule the Rudy's Dad out for Eurovision. Okay. And oftentimes my reviews there come after much debate. This one was a pretty solid, easy David Alan Grier, Damon Wayans, Men on Films.
Hated it.
Yeah.
And
okay.
And as we talk about sometimes, a lot of my David Alan Grier, Damon Wayans, Men on Films hated it are for movies that I didn't necessarily hate, all right? But I couldn't, in any good faith, tell anybody to watch, nor would I necessarily claim to have enjoyed, you know what I mean? So I feel that's kind of I can't in good heart give it a hell yeah, and that's kind of where I fall with this one. But honestly, contrary to what you might expect for some crazy, goofy character, I actually really liked the character. I thought that it was just funny and kind of interesting. I felt that the musical scenes, as we talked about, I'm a musical comedy kind of guy, so I felt those were funny enough every couple minutes to keep you going, and a lot of that I really liked. I just felt from the movie it was quite shit, and like we talked about, huge factor here being 2 hours, where by the end there was just a lot of things didn't line up. The bad guy wasn't bad enough. The love story was with like an asexual weirdo. Like they killed the audition and then were shocked that they got in. You know what I mean? Like for a movie that was over 2 hours, there was just a lot of like movie things that didn't line up. You know what I mean? If it's going to be a 2-hour rom-com, it's got to be really brimming with heart and soul. Like timing. You need to take a note from Alex Anderson and timing and, a little bit more efficiency with your movie, because 2 hours for me was just too much. Literally 20 minutes shorter, I very well might be stone colding this one, honestly, because it had potential. From the opening song montage with that crazy video of them on glaciers playing a keyboard, I was in, and just really over 2 hours later, it was just not good enough for that. So I'm giving it a Damon Wayans, David Alan Grier, Men on Films.
Hated it.
Interesting. And I think that's the right read. And I guess I will piggyback on that review too. Although I'm going to start following Liam's footsteps, because I've run out of Netflix and reviews.
Yeah, Devin can't rhyme in Swedish, so he can't give it a Netflix.
So I'm going to kind of rip off Liam's idea, but I'm going to stick to the fact that I'm going to give you my own 4-point review system.
Okay,
nice.
I
think I'm going to try to start doing
finally
this
on the 4-point audio scale, or
I'm on the 4-point audio scale, but I'm only using Will Ferrell as my range of emotions here. Okay.
Okay, nice. So your 4-point Will Ferrell audio scale. All right, so I guess run us through the rating system here.
I'll run you through the rating system. So I'll start in the middle and I'll go extreme. So if I hated it, if I didn't like it, instead of David Alan Grier, Damon Wayans, I'm going the Will Ferrell, Ron Burgundy, go fuck yourself, San Francisco.
Go fuck yourself, San Diego.
All right, nice. Here we go.
Right.
A little from the whale's vagina.
That's right. If I liked it, kind of the equivalent to my Stone Cold, oh hell yeah. If I liked the movie, I'm going Will Ferrell as the elf singing I Love You.
I love you, I love you, I love you!
Very nice.
All right. If
I can see how that's a hell yeah. That's a very comparable.
Right? If I absolutely hated it, if I thought it was the worst thing I've ever seen.
Okay, so my Nick Cage Mandy scream.
My Nick Cage Will Ferrell scream is going to be Will Ferrell having a meltdown in the locker room, screaming at everybody to keep their composure from Old School.
We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure. We've gone too far. There's too much to lose. We've got to keep our composure.
All right. And if I absolutely loved it, if it was, dare I say, the most beautiful thing these old eyes have ever seen, I'm going, once again, Ron Burgundy, Will Ferrell being stuck in a glass cage of emotion.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
All right. So with that,
yeah, I mean, it doesn't get better than that. Truly is the most beautiful sight these eyes have ever seen. Level of emotion.
So with that, I'm going to say my proposal. I think Liam had the right idea.
Your first Will Ferrell emotion here. This is exciting.
And possibly my last, unless we ever do another Will Ferrell movie. But
oh, I see. Yes, you're gonna be changing it every time, of course. Okay, I got you.
Correct.
All right, nice.
Give myself a little extra work. Why not? But Liam had it on the right side, and I guess really Netta kind of pushed. Like hearing Netta talk about it, almost pushed me above. Some of the things that you thought were funny, almost pushed me. You did have the right read with the hated it, but. I gotta go Will Ferrell screaming at everybody to keep their composure in the locker room.
Wow.
We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure. We've gone too far. There's too much to lose. We've got to keep our composure.
I absolutely fucking hated this movie, man. I thought it was I just don't think it knew what it wanted it to be. You know what I mean? Like, there wasn't that many funny parts to me. Like him screaming at the Americans and him running on the hamster wheel. I did forget about the scene about him being on the bench and him and Rachel McAdams being so sad and happy at the same time. That is funny.
Yeah.
But to me, like, it was such like a played out Will Ferrell. Like I've seen that before. The character seemed like so over the top, like Blades of Glory, but really wasn't. Like they were made to seem like a really terrible band.
No, in all honesty, Netta really put in a lot of perspective. Just that, like she said, he had to kind of have a little bit of like a different level of respect for the culture or whatever. Because you're right, it started off going to be super goofy parody, and then it didn't really ever follow suit with that.
But it never was.
And it made perfect sense that, like, what she said, it's like his wife was Swedish and he couldn't really just make a mockery of it all. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, they were too good to be like, oh, this band sucks. Like, no, they were fantastic. You know what I mean? They were as good as any other of those goofy fucking bands out there. Like,
yeah, ABBA. You're telling me they're no better than ABBA? I mean, come on.
Like, maybe I thought the song could have been funnier. Like, even the big sing along part, it was just like too real. The movie never had too many like real moments to be funny, like too funny moments to be real. Like, I just never. It just never got.
No, I definitely
attention.
get you. I definitely get you.
Checked out for most of it. Like, And then the 2 hours felt like forever too. Like
by the end, it definitely dragged on. It kind of reminded me of XOXO, where I started off red hot, like fucking about to Rudy's dad it, you know, and then by the end I'm like about to I'm debating between. So for you though, this was a debate between the Will Ferrell old school meltdown and the Go Fuck Yourself San Diego though, because for me it would have been at the very least to Go Fuck Yourself San Diego and a
singing I Love You
and a singing I Love You, but so I was a little bit more high on it, but I totally understand everything that you say, you know. I kind of I think just maybe thought the character a little funnier, but and you're right, I was a little bit like the melody scene I was kind of lost on. It was, you know, like all right,
melody scene,
or it was kind of one of those like
the melody scene made me sick.
Yeah, it kind of was one of those. What did you call it with Bradley Cooper? Sorry, what did you call it with Bradley Cooper? Star Wars, more an ego project, where it was kind of just like, all right, like, are you guys just trying to like? Is Will Ferrell just trying to show up that he can keep up with like other great music? Are you trying to Hamilton this thing on me right here? Like, what exactly is going on?
Really,
this is a little too high level right now, you know, like.
But it's how much he loves Eurovision. Yeah,
it's
real.
losing its goofy craziness, but you know,
it really did, man. I'll take a semi-pro any day of the week.
All right, so Devin's ultimately, though, giving it a Will Ferrell from old school.
We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure. We've gone too far. There's too much to lose. It's not just keep our composure.
Having said that, though, I will put an asterisk on it and say that this could be one of those times that if I watch it again, I might like it more. You know what I mean? It's happened many times with Will Ferrell movies.
Yeah, but
no,
that's definitely true, though. You know, definitely true with character movies, kind of like this. That can definitely happen. You know.
But I feel like you and I are in like the rare in this because, like I said, it was certified fresh. People have been posting about it online. How it's like, oh, it's a good return to comedy for Will Ferrell, and like.
Yeah, that's a good call.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't get that.
Yeah.
You know, resounding reviews from Netta Raw.
I mean, the one thing I can say, I suppose, that it is very rom-com-y, so maybe a lot of the Netta Raws, a lot of the female geeks out there might like it a lot more because they think the melody was amazing, you know, and like the rom-com was really sweet. So they might like the fact that Rachel McAdams is like the sexual fucking lead in this one, you know, and the melody scenes might have been a little bit better for them, but you know, for me and you, I'm sticking by my David Alan Grier. David Williams hated it, and I can't argue with your old school meltdown. So
I'll take a shitty Sandler movie over a shitty Will Ferrell movie any day of the week, dude.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can remember though. I actually hated it, Ridiculous 6, and then by the time like I went to bed that night, I immediately regretted it because I was like for the next week laughing at fucking Rob Schneider scenes from that movie.
What would you say now, watching both? Are you more of a Ridiculous 6 guy or more of a Eurovision?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I definitely should have hell yeah at Ridiculous 6. That was major.
Okay.
Definitely. Like literally the rest of the week, I was waking up, shaking my head, like giggling over a hilarious scene, shaking my head that I fucked up.
That means he likes you.
I'm willing to put a top 5 Sandler movies I've ever seen. To be honest, that one's a real 180.
Yeah. Anything without Drew Barrymore, count me in.
Ooh, baby, it's time to get geeked up.